like to end it on a positive note. So, you know, Mike, you're in my top left of my screen, so I'm going to start with you and then go to Jeanette and then Joel and Jim and Glenn. But if you could tell me, what was the one positive surprise that you had doing your Expanse conversion? Like, what was the one thing that really sort of took you back and you said, wow, you know, that's great? Could be people, process, or technology, any of the above.
Yeah, you know, probably the thing that sticks most out to me is just the level of support that we got from just not internally, but I mean from MEDITECH, from our partners. There were many out there that just really, I mean, everybody came together, and just that the team just was able to produce, and people just gave so much of their time and their livelihood and for so many hours and all the overtime. It was just, I was really impressed about how everybody came together under a common goal to really make some positive change. And I think we got there. It's just, yeah, it was painful, but the team did just phenomenal.
Except for those 4 who left.
Yeah, you know, I mean, but you know, they had their priorities. It just, we weren't aligned. They're probably all in better places, and yeah, I mean, in the end, it all worked out, and so we're very blessed to have had such a great team there.
And did you take any time to sort of celebrate the success, even if it was just a pizza lunch or a?
Yeah, you know, we had COVID.
Oh, it happened right around the.
So we went live in November. And then November 1st was our go live, and then COVID hit. So I mean, we've tried to do some things, and I mean, the first 30 days were just phenomenal. Everything just worked great. We had our go live was very non-eventful. And then just as time goes on, the nuances of using a new system came to be. But again, it's just like all those people that just gave so much time and effort. I'm really glad to have worked with them.
Thanks. Jeanette?
Yeah, so many positives. I think the people, I agree, that was by far the biggest success story. People coming together, giving just as Mike alluded to, hours and hours of time to make it successful. And actually, amazingly, in calendar year 19, across about 60 IT folks that were coming together to now support this newly created Community One IT, we had 0 turnover, which was just amazing, because it's not like we created massive, you know, and then 2020 is a different story, but 2019 really was a great testament to how dedicated people were to really, you know, standing in and optimizing that system and making that end user experience as good as it could be. I think I've been very pleased with the iterative process. The priority packs really have proven to be effective for us and provided new and solid technology. I'm thrilled with some of the things proactively, like those surveillance boards. BCA, we created some really spectacular COVID-related dashboards. So seeing the power of the analytics behind all of this, you know, I keep feeling we spent all these years implementing and asking, you know, physicians and caregivers to put in more and more information, and it's been our responsibility to give something back in terms of the analytics and the business drivers that we can provide. So I've been really pleased with that. And I think my other area of pure surprise was how smoothly surgical services went. I think historically I've had implementations across the course of my career where surgical services kind of like, not that group, but in this case, across all the organizations, it was a very smooth go live across our surgical services suites, which was terrific.
Excellent. Thank you. Joel?
Yeah, I would certainly echo with Mike and Jeanette, the team camaraderie that comes together, the people that are passionate about their expertise and patient safety and making it right, and being there for the providers to try to make it as easy as possible is just nothing short of inspiring. What I will say too is you get one shot at this every, 7 or 8 years whenever you're gonna upgrade an EMR. So I liken it to if you've ever bought a kid's swing set and it takes you 3 or 4 days to put it together. If you bought a second one, it'd take you 3 hours to put it together. You don't know what you don't know when you're getting into it, and you get one crack at it. So when you come to data conversion, it's like, yeah, the day you're done is like, oh, if I could do another one right now, it'd be so much easier because you've learned all these lessons, but you have to wait 7 to 10 years for the next upgrade or thing to come across your desk before you get to do it again. The whole game's changed by then. And that's actually one of the team members that left my team. He said, I'm good at this. I like the work. I want to go work for a company that does this every single day so I can replicate it. I totally understood that because I said, we just did it. And by God, we're not going to do it again for a long time if I have anything to say about it. So that's the best thing of it, is just the lessons you learn through it and what you take away. So.
Thanks. Jim or Glenn, anything you want to add?
I'll just see a week on from my seat and stand.
Oh, it's hard to hear you, Jim.
We got in our seat from the stands a view of this that was really, really enlightening to me. And what it was is similar to what your panel shared. This wasn't easy for anybody. This was like swapping out the engines on a jet aircraft at 30,000 feet in the air, and just hoping you had enough of a glide path to pull it off. And I think what impressed me, if I think about the number of implementations that I ran in parallel with one of our project managers as the executive sponsor, I think on every single one of them, there were crisis moments where the CIO was ripping out his or her hair. And really, I was using my psychology degree more than my business degree in meetings with them. But there was this inflection point, and the inflection point was they got ambulatory up, and all of a sudden, the physicians who were the difference makers in their organization and who were the influences in their organization fell in love. And once they fell in love with the product, that provided the impetus to get it done. And what impressed me is, I mean, I must have sit at a million presentations in my past life. Terry, you probably gave a couple of them as a consultant in your past life, where people would say, don't underestimate the training, don't underestimate the training. Everybody was talking about how easy it was to train physicians to use Expanse. And I think that carried a lot of organizations through those obstacles. And so that's the only thing I can contribute on that side.
Thanks, Jim. Glenn, any last words of wisdom?
Yeah, positive thing for me, and this is personal, is back in the mid-90s, I put my neck on the line to get the data repository developed at MEDITECH, arguing that they needed to separate the transaction server activity from the reporting activity. That was the big argument to get data repository developed. And of course, I was over the MPR report writer group at the time, and that's when people would start these billing reports, and the whole billing application and admissions would come to a standstill, and so, because of the fight between the report writers and the transaction processors. And now, 20 odd years later with Expanse, we're finally seeing MEDITECH adopting really wholeheartedly the separation of those processes, recognizing that reporting should be done, and they validated this with BCA, which runs off data repository and all that reporting. On top of that, the meaningful use reporting that MEDITECH has developed is data repository. Some of the toolkits are data repository driven now. The reports to meet the Cures Act that they're coming out now, they're data repository. So they have finally full on adopted something that we tried to put in place over 20 years ago, and feels good with Expanse, and to be part of that even now, and to be part of that transition to all that report processing happening in the data repository has been a positive and a fulfilling thing.
And I just want to say that, Jeanette, I'm going to pick up on something you said. So here I go, aging myself. I've been working with the MEDITECH system since Nice, okay? So the late 80s. And as you said, for decades, we've been just making people under, trying the carrot, using the stick to put data into the system. And finally, we're starting to get to the point where we're using the data for something. And I'm glad I saw it in my lifetime, because with all the man hours and women hours that have gone in, it's great to be able to see we're able to use it for the COVID reporting. Tomorrow, if you come to the session, we're going to be talking about some of the surgical dashboard stuff through the interface. I mean, there's just so much value that we've had locked away in the systems, and now we're finally able to use it to help with operational improvements and patient satisfaction, just for everything. So it's really, it's great to see how far MEDITECH has come and EHRs. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's still a long, I think there's still a long way to go, particularly when you talk about interoperability and, you know, being able to see my record if I go, you know, down to Florida and fall and break my leg, you know, all those types of things. But we've come a long way. So it's really refreshing. And a lot of it's on the backs of the people here. So thank you all for the work that you do at your hospitals. And thank you for participating on the panel. Again, I wish that we had 50 people on this panel here to hear you, but it's been really great. So Acmeware appreciates you participating, and so thank you.
Yes, thank you all.